Let's jump back into the comp here for a minute. Imagine you've presented your shot for dailies and your director says, you know what, I think the eyes need to come up a little bit on the character. Well, you could potentially hit a note like that in the comp without having to go back and re-render things. But there's a little bit of a tricky situation here, and that's because we've got glass on the lenses. So normally you would say, you know what, I'm going to use a cryptomatte and I'm going to select the eyes. So let's view that for a second. Let's go ahead and switch this to material. Now you'll see the material as well as the object is not giving you a choice to select the eyeballs because you have glass in front of them. Instead, you have to go and make something like this. This is an old school RGB mask pass. And so it's not just an eye mask, it's also for the hair. And the reason I did that is because the hair is partially going behind the glass lens as well. First of all, let's just, how would I use this in the comp, right? Let's go back here. Say I made a grade node. Just hook that up as the mask. And then you would just set this to like red for that. And you could just, you know, bring your eyes up if you needed to do whatever kind of color correction you wanted. That's how you would do it. So let's go back into Katana and talk about how we set this up. All right, so coming off of our char pass here, we've got our Arnold object settings. So this was setting all the environment stuff to matte. So we're going to split a pass off from here so that we don't have to duplicate this node. And then what I'm doing here is a material stack. So I've just created 3 materials, which are flat shaders. So from this list, flat. So all it does is it gives you a solid color. This is the most simple, basic material that you can use. You could do this with an Arnold standard material, but then you have to make sure you turn off specular and you're paying for a lot of code that you don't need to. This should render a lot faster. Right, so I've got a red, green, and blue material. And if I go to my scene explorer, we'll go down to the bottom here. If you view this, we should have a red, green, and blue material. Of course, we then have to assign them. So this is very simple. And then also setting a matte for some other stuff. And the other way that you could do it is potentially just making a 4th material just called black. We used to do RGB masking all the time before we had cryptomattes. Cryptomattes are amazing, but this is one instance where you need to do something like this. So the next step here is you need to edit the materials of the lenses. So we're not pruning the lenses. We need the lenses to be there because they're refracting the background. And so that index of refraction of the glass lens is going to change the position of all of these pixels. So again, if I prune the lens and I rendered this same image, it would look similar, but the edges of the eyes wouldn't line up properly. So we need to leave the lenses in there. And so what I've done here is just network material edits. And then in each case, I'm going to go ahead and set the specularity to 0, and then making sure that our transmission is set to 1. All of that is just so that we get completely transparent lenses, no specular reflections, just the transmission, which will show this component through. And then the final thing that I did was just to prune all of the lights. After that, make sure you turn off the AOVs. You don't need any AOVs in this pass.